Hi, I'm Christine Freeman. I'm with Cengage Learning, and we're a higher ed publisher. We used to be Thompson Learning, but now we're Cengage Learning. And so my question relates to what was just there, and it is, I think, probably primarily for Ken or for Sam, when you have these sites that have data and they have observational possibilities and they have analytical tools, to what extent do you also have suggestions or guidelines for teachers, for faculty, on how to make these into activities, how to make it into something that has a formative or summative assessment possibility to it? It's there, and this is kind of like, you were talking about the back part, and then this is the forward part. Once you've found out whether this is the right level for your students, how big this project is, what kinds of goals can you set up? To what extent is that present for your teachers and instructors?
We've struggled with that for a long time, and the strategy that we've sort of converged on in the last 5 years or so is this notion of open curriculum, that we are trying to create resources for faculty to fine-tune for their own classrooms. So we think it would be presumptive to tell them what their students need to do, what their students' background is, what the emphasis in their course, the organism that they want to model with. So we try to create rich contexts that give multiple opportunities for student engagement, and then we ask that the faculty, modify, streamline, adapt someone else's lab, and then contribute it back to the community. So the idea is that you create this richness of possibilities, but that the faculty professional expertise is valued because they're sort of the ultimate arbiter of what's valuable to them and their students. It takes a lot of energy and time and input, but we're taking the high road, right? We're not going to hit every faculty member. We just want to create a big enough community that it'll self-sustain.
I think this open source idea that ISKME is pioneering and behind is absolutely the right one. I mean, I think that sharing, right? So that, you're right, we don't have a good curriculum set up or advice for teachers or anything like that, but if someone in this room or anyone you know sends it to me, we'll link it in. I mean, we'll be very happy. And I think your point of, as long as you're willing to share it and pass it on, that's all the better. And what's the incentive? That's a good question, but I think maybe the incentives for these kind of open source things, just like the incentives for developers of all kinds of open source tools, operating systems and tools for the web, is reputation. So you'll be posted on there, and we'll be happy to set up an education page and put things on there. And I would welcome if anyone here wants to get involved in that.
You might have been talking about young faculty and the lack of professional incentive and reward, where is the value for this? And one could think about that in terms of K12 teachers as well. I ask it as an open question. Is that one of the potential change agents that would make a difference here?
Well, it's interesting because that's never really been our focus. Is so much reaching the teachers, but because of the feedback we get from teachers and how we teach, they've really demanded it. So now we're kind of restructuring things and thinking, okay, how can we, we're reaching students, but when you reach teachers, you're reaching way more students. So that's something that we're going to be tweaking and working with. And maybe not so much like make and take kind of things for teachers to do in their classrooms, but just kind of get them to think how they can use the resources that they have available at their schools to teach science and ecology in different ways. So, and it's interesting actually, we do a lot of outreach here in the city, and I taught at a school in the Tenderloin, and they had this beautiful garden, and I just asked if I could teach outside, and there was a hummingbird nest, and we had all different kinds of birds and butterflies, and it was this little Eden, and it was great. It just made me realize that really anywhere you can find those natural spaces, and the kids can explore and really notice and question and do their own plans and investigations of those natural spaces.
But you're an example of kind of motivated, kind of really have this intrinsic energy. And I think one of the things I talked to a friend of mine from high school friend of mine who's now a teacher in an elementary school in a state I won't name. But I was asking him about something cool. What is he working on? Like, how is he innovating? He said, I don't do any innovating. I don't waste my time with that. And I said, what do you mean? He said, there's no incentive whatsoever. He said, no one's going to pay attention. If I spent all the time on that, I would get nothing out of it. So I'm not doing it. And he had just become, dead. And I was thinking, it's so sad because of all those kids sitting in his classroom as that message is being transmitted through, and he's dead as a doorknob. And he's a friend of mine. I mean, he's a creative guy, but he takes all his creative energy and he does music outside, but he doesn't teach. So that's where I think that administrators can really, let them be a little bit creative here and offer some incentives, whether it's financial or rewards or a variety of different things, but give teachers credit when they do something new and different.
Yeah, I've seen other, I've just been doing some research for that incentive. I mean, we do have some amazing teachers that just want to come, but we'd like to reach as many as we can, and some places, offer a stipend or credit for a master's, or even I saw with a facility or an organization in San Jose, Raft, they give massages and things like that. So, being creative and seeing, if we can offer more incentives to teachers, because we do totally understand and sympathize with the demands on them.